if you start with a 0.5% and you take a loss, it's going to feel like a mosquito bite. It's a nuisance. You wish it didn't happen, but it's really not bothering you. But if you keep going back into and scratching it, it's going to do what? Potentially get infected, create an open sore. And that's what you end up doing when you start treating your losing trades like a mosquito bite. You want to just keep itching it. It's done its damage. Let it go. Just leave it alone. Ignore it. Move on to the next thing. But your risk has to be unique to you. Don't just take the industry standard that everybody regurgitates, 2%, because that's too high for a new student. It's too high. Too fucking high. And there's people out there that will claim that you got to push it. You got to know when to push it. How are you going to know when to push it if you've only been messing around for a couple months? Seriously, answer that question. How could anybody reasonably expect to know their reactions, their expectations, how they're going to react to the profit if it starts moving in their favor? You want to know what's scary? Being in a move that you didn't expect to be so rapid and sudden, and you didn't have a limit order in yet, and it starts railing in your favor. That's terrifying. As a new student, it's thrilling as shit, but it's terrifying because you're like, what do I do? You're like a deer in headlights. That's scary as shit. You think losing money is scary. Now that's regret. And you're just fearful of doing it the next time. But when you're in a winning trade that you didn't expect to be that powerful and you didn't have a limit order placed in, it's just running like crazy, that's a terrifying feeling. Like you get paralyzed. You're afraid to get out because what if it keeps running? And you're afraid to stay in it because what if it's going to reverse? That's a weird feeling for a new student to experience. And you have to have time for those things to creep in. And it teaches you a lot about yourself. And books don't talk about that stuff. All the books I've ever read, they don't ever talk about what I'm talking about here. Even Mark Douglas' book, as good as it is, and it's a classic, he doesn't really hammer all these things and really put it in a way where, hey, let's just talk about it vaguely. No, these are things that you're going to deal with, and they're going to impact your trading. They're going to really have an impact on how you develop and how you manage yourself as a trader. And you can't just take industry standards or things that are tossed around as that's going to be a perfect fit for you. No, like you have to determine what is optimal for you, and it may be less than 1% risk, or it might be just 1%. Others might thrive with 3% risk. I think that's a little nuts for a new trader, but hey, you know yourself. And respecting the risk and understanding that comes with it. With my advice is only use 30% of your equity. Okay, so when you have these like funded accounts, like, yeah, I got $100,000 funded account, you want to get out there and you want to maximize that $100,000 leverage they're giving you. You don't have $100,000 really, but they're giving you the buying power or selling power of 100,000 equivalent. I'm telling you, only use 30,000 of it. You will not blow your account. You won't wreck it. You won't get, drunk with the idea of making big money. You want to make consistent money. And if it works out that you're only making $500 a week, fuck anybody else that has a problem with that. Who gives a shit? That's $500. That's bread going in your pocket. That's grocery money. That's paying your car note or a utility bill. Fuck everybody else's opinion. There's too much of that shit going on to getting you wrapped up and caught up in all this keeping up with Joneses shit. You're here and you're in this industry to do one thing: make money. That's it. It's not a fucking hobby. It's not fantasy football. It's not this team against that team. It's you trying to make money. Hang on, I gotta put some oil in the engine here. What are you drinking, ICT? Evian spring water, made from the French Alps. It's good shit. But when you respect the risk and you're only trading with 30% of your equity, the idea is, if you're new, and I've seen so many times, like I fell victim to this too. When I first started really wanting to make big money, I was like, I'm undercapitalized. Like I don't have enough. And I took bigger risk than I should have, thinking I'm going to shorten the span of time that required to get to a bigger account. Because if I get a bigger account, I can make big money consistently. And it doesn't work that way. The worst thing that can happen is if you trade with a small account and you risk really big and you win, you're like, oh, well, I'm going to do that again. And if you get lucky there, what are you going to do the next time? Even bigger. Well, that's when the inevitable happens. You have that losing trade that becomes a losing series of trades because now you're regretful that you did what you did. You knew damn well you shouldn't have done that. So you're going to try to hurt it. Just let me get back to what I had. I made $10,000 in the last 3 trades combined, and I just took the drawdown and down, only up $7,100. I shouldn't have done that. Let me try to just get it back to 10,000. How many times you been in that situation? Maybe not 10,000, but you've been there, right? You've had an equity high. You knew damn well you should have stopped. You got through there. You took a trip through hell, and you got out before the devil knew you were there. And you just decided to go back in there one more fucking time. And it burned your ass. And now you can't stomach the idea that you did it. You just want to fix it. What happens if you did that one more time and you fix it? It's going to reassure what you did was the right thing, and it's the wrong thing. You need to say, okay, my impulsive nature, my weaknesses, my frailty as a human being is saying I should go back in and fix that. Your trader and the analyst need to have a conversation internally and say, okay, what's the probabilities of me getting back to that equity high? What's the probabilities of me losing more? What benefit is there for me to risk more when I'm still up like I am? So the analyst talks common sense into the trader. And the trader, if it's not being a gambler, because there's 3 people in every one of us in trading: the analyst, the trader, and the gambler. The gambler is going to be the person that's going to look at somebody else's results and say, I can do better than that. Over leverage in a simulator account without a stop loss, just to say they can do something. Impulsive. Look at this, look at that. But not hide, but hide the trade so that way you don't see it. Because if it fails, you don't get to know it. He did it or she did it.